The eyes to the right, 369.
The eyes to the right, 369.
Occult literally means hidden from view, so it's connected to the eyes. A person who treats eyes is called oculist. So you got oculist versus occultist. It's very much the same. There was once a German secret society of oculists, centred in the town of Wolfenbüttel in Germany. They played the role of gatekeepers to burgeoning field of ophthalmology. I'll get there in the end. Why is the eye so important? So in this video, I'll show you why. Your eyes don't just see the effects of time. They are time. And it blew me away when I found this, some etymology, and it's coming up now, it'll have you wow. So etymology of eye reveals Old English, the word eye, but spelled like age. And age also means the actual spelling for age. So basically it's the amount of time something existed, and that is from your eye. Well, you only have to take off one letter. And remember in my last video I showed you EAG from eagle meant death or decay. And we all have bad vision, so what's damaging our eyes? And I'm wondering, is it the blue light from the computers, from phones, from laptops? Because if you remember, the devil first appeared in early Christian iconography as a blue angel assisting Jesus. So this got me thinking about the blue. And it is known as the Last Judgment, and it appears in the Basilica of Santa Apollinare Nuovo. And as you know, from around the world, different cultures, there's blue gods, there's blue demons. So emphasis on the blue. And it's just intriguing me. I mean, we have another devil picture, and it appears again in Giovanni de Modena scene from Dante. Giovanni is a derivative of Janus. And the devil is blue in that. The devil means adversary. And to show more of the blue, DC have a character called Blue Devil. And it first it was going to become a TV series. It did appear in the Swamp Thing, but it got cancelled, so it never came to anything. But you can just see the intriguing bit of the blue linked with the eyes, and also blue light and the devil. So I'm talking about the eyes. Well, if you look at this in the Matrix, the terms red pill and blue pill, similar to pupil, refer to the choice between the willingness to learn a potentially unsettling or life-changing truth by taking the red pill, or remaining in contented ignorance with the blue pill. So it's talking about you to learn. When you learn, you are a pupil. And now the term refers to obviously the scene in the Matrix, another name for the womb, which is rebirth. So we're talking about rebirth, the willingness to learn. Well, when you're at school, you are a pupil. We're all at school. We're all learning. We're born ignorant, but innocent. So I've always talked about how knowledge, light, information are all one and the same. Well, when we're talking about the eyes in this video, obviously, and to get that light, firstly, it passes through the cornea. The cornea sounds a bit like the coroner, and that's a clear front layer of the eye. So some of the light enters the eye through an opening, and that opening is called pupil. Now if we type in the Latin converter, pupil, and I'll put it so you can hear it. Pupil, and in Latin, pupilla. So that basically means discipulus apprentice, student, pupil, trainee, disciple, scholar. Pupilla, apple, ward, pupil, pupil of the eye, orphan girl, minor. Auditor, hearer, pupil, listener, disciple. Pupil, pupil of the eye, and eyeball. So you can see the link between learning, light, and knowledge is all through the eye. And that's why I want to do this video on the eye, because I want to put so much different aspects in it just to make you think, why is there so much this worship of the eye? I mean, think about it now. So you have the light, it just goes through the pupil, which is so important. Then you have the iris. But before I go on the iris, the pupil is the darkest part in the circle. It's dark. And it's funny how evil is dark, black, associated with that, and badness, bad. But it's funny that we're talking about apple of the eye. And if you quickly change the English to apple,
apple,
and in Latin it means
malum,
malum, apple fruit, malum, evil, disaster, apple, harm, mischief, hurt. So you can see how apple of the eye translates to malum, which is bad. This is in regard to the tale of Adam and Eve taking the fruit off, is it the tree of knowledge of good and evil? It's weird that they title the tree that, and we're talking about light, knowledge, and fruit. Obviously, we don't know what fruit. The people are theorising what type of fruit it actually was, if it was real. But the tree of knowledge, we're talking about pupils. Pupils are there to learn, and I can quickly join it together to mean bad. So it's just crazy, isn't it? How we all can connect the both. And like I said, the iris, the coloured part of the eye, controls how much light the pupil lets in, and then it passes through the lens, a clear inner part of the eye. Iris, well, iris is Siri backwards. Siri is the voice on what type of phone? Yes, you got it, a Apple phone. And when you look at the Apple logo, it's obviously an apple. And then the oldest one is obviously the apple falling from a tree, I believe it is. Or it's on the tree. I'll show a little image of it. And obviously that ties into the apple from the tree of knowledge. And pupil being something that a person who is learning. And we are here to learn. The control of light, which is information and knowledge, can create something dark and bad. Just intriguing, isn't it? So we just talked about obviously the pupils, the iris. Well, this is a depiction of an old theory about how the pineal gland relates to our eyes and vision. The lines represent our physical range of focus. And don't you notice a stunning resemblance to a very familiar symbol, the sigil of Lucifer? It's also very interesting that the pineal gland rests in between the two lines at the tip of the lower V shape. There's obviously more to the symbol than meets the eye. So it's intriguing, isn't it? And obviously Lucifer means light bringer or light bearer or light holder. But it's in regard to light and emitting into our eyes. And obviously people will automatically know about Google Play being like sigil Lucifer. But if you split Google, it's go ogle. And ogle means to stir something in a lecherous manner, using your vision again. So go ogle someone. Google Play. Spot on symbol for the seal of Satan in regard to field of view. And look, it's blue again. Can't get any more coincidence than that, can we, guys? The eyes are the windows of the soul. Very famous quote, but I've written one I prefer myself better. The eyes are the windows of the soul. But like any window, you can look both ways. Now this is in reference to how evil, if you remember the evil eye or the witch's glare, it's been around for thousands of years, and is known as the Nazar, more commonly known as the evil eye, is over 5,000 years old. It is found in all major religions and throughout countless cultures. It is believed that the eye protects its own from evil spirits, the jealousy and the ill will of others by peering back in the spirit realm. It was worn as a protection talisman and placed above the house, the car or an altar. Now in Ireland, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, an epidemic illness spread among cattle in Ireland, which rendered them blind. Now, witches were accused of causing the blindness by malevolent spells. Witches were called eye biters. Intriguing name. Eye biting was considered an involuntary form of evil eye. And going back to the evil eye, just have a look. What colour is it primarily? Yeah, again, it's blue. So we have the devil being blue, and to ward off evil, they are using blue. So looking at those blue evil eyes, it got me thinking of lapis lazuli. And one meaning of lapis lazuli is blue stone. You can see it's a crystal. Another is heaven's stone. That will make more sense later on. And the Egyptians believed it offered protection and was a symbol of truth. And don't we look as a community for the truth? And so it's no surprise that then they use lapis lazuli under the eyes. I mean, Sumerians, Egyptians all did it. And how is this to protect the windows of the soul and to aid in the search for truth? It's just intriguing, the use of lapis lazuli in this under the eyes, the blueness. It's intriguing, isn't it? Especially when you put it in regard to what I've showed you so far. And what intrigued me even more is sapphires were not known in the Roman period. The elder Pliny basically gives a description of sapphires like being the night sky spangled with stars, and Theophratus describes sapphire was spotted with gold. Because of these ancient sources, most scholars now agree that sapphire in the Bible meant lapis lazuli. So lapis lazuli, the Egyptian god of the heavens, the firmament, is Nut. It is spot on with lapis lazuli. So in the Bible now, where it says sapphire, it is lapis lazuli. And here's a quote from, a verse from Ezekiel 1:26. The new one now reads, "Now above the expanse that was over their heads, there was something resembling a throne, like lapis lazuli in appearance, and on that which resembled a throne, high up was a figure with the appearance of a man." And we've talked about Lucifer in this. And in the Bible, it seems sapphires were likely used by God to adorn a new created Lucifer. But now we know sapphires are lapis lazuli, and again, blue in colour. It just makes you think, doesn't it, guys? Especially when you have names for a blue horse called Lucifer. You only have to put B in front of Lucifer and it's blue. So, lapis lazuli represents truth. Well, the god of truth in Egypt, balance and law, is Ma'at. And although Egyptian god Nut is the sky, Ma'at regulates the stars. So Ma'at is truth and the law and regulates the stars, so she's tied to the colour blue. And you can see some statues of her blue. So, have you heard of the saying, in the eyes of the law? I mean, just look at the scales. They look like your vision, your field of view from above. It's crazy. We call them many things, but we call the police the boys in what? What colour are they referred to? Yep, you got it. Blue. So the eyes, the law are blue. Feeleg, Five Eyes law enforcement group, never heard of it before. I mean, even in Britain. And don't the police have stars on the badges? And the police are referred to as the thin blue line. What is it under the eyes again? Oh yes, thin blue. Funny how it all ties to Ma'at. I mean, just look at Ma'at scales. Most of them, near all of them, are level. You look at our scales, most of them are tipped. And even Lady Justice is blindfolded to represent her impartiality in matters of justice and the law. We don't want her to be blindfolded. We want her to see the evil that's going on. They have blindfolded her. So their eyes are also connected to the law. Now there's some clips coming up that will show you this down to a T, as the saying goes. It blew me away when I found it. One of them is a Bible verse and another is something I found in basically a Latin converter. So here you go, guys.
Psalm 119:18. Open my eyes, that I may see wondrous things from your law. The Word our defense. The Bible should never be studied without prayer. The Holy Spirit alone can cause us to feel the importance of those things easy to be understood, or prevent us from wresting truths difficult of comprehension. It is the office of heavenly angels to prepare the heart so to comprehend God's Word that we shall be charmed with its beauty, admonished by its warnings, or animated and strengthened by its promises. We should make the psalmist's petition our own. Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law.
Right, guys, what you're going to see here is me splitting up. So on the screen you can see retina. Obviously retina is part of the eye, and what I'm gonna show you is from an old video. This is just, I've just made this so I can actually talk about it beforehand. Yes, it's not reliable, but when you're on Light and Convert, you can also press this middle button and you can actually forward and see what other words come from said word. Now, what I found blew me away. Now, I'm not saying it's fact, I'm not saying it's true. I just found it was so wow when I was talking about the eye that it blew me away, because I originally did a video a long time ago called The Truth, Wavelength. Why do people see the truth? Why do people not? Basically what this video today is like a part two, in a sense of just looking at things completely different once again. And I'm just blown away. So what you're going to actually see, as you can see, I've split retina up, and have a look what comes out of retina. It'll blow you away. So as I was saying, this is from an old video. So as you can see on the screen, you have split up retina. I clicked it to go forward. It then went Vril of ina of inna. So I clicked it again. We've got of inna, and in Latin ex socere sui. I clicked it forward one more time, and ex socere sui became the law. So what's the odds on that? That from retina I got the law. And it ain't just the only bit of proof for the eyes being the law, because I've just showed you. What are the odds of that, guys? So like our eyes being the law, we're also the judge, the jury, and the executioner, in a way. Think about it. Do we not judge people on their appearance? Don't judge a book by its cover is the most famous saying. So we are acting like a judge. So according to science, we only see 1% of the visual light spectrum. So in turn, that means we are missing 99% of what's actually going on. It's startling, that, isn't it? If it's true. So most of our existence then is hidden. We're living in an occult world. The question I want to know is, if we all see just 1%, is it the same 1% we all see? So the next time we see a theory we don't like, let's not scoff at it, because that person just might be seeing a different 1% than us. They just might be peering through different doors. And what number represents the door, the portal, the gateway? I've said it enough on the channel. You got it. 11. Now this got me because this blew me away. Doesn't matter which way you add it, it still adds to this. So what you're actually seeing here is your angles, your field of view. So let's add the numbers up. 6 add 6 add 7 add 5 add 9 add 5 equals 38. That's 3 add 8, that's 11. That's that number again. So if you don't like using those numbers, let's actually just add the numbers together as well. 60 add 75 add 60 add 95, that's 290. 9 add 2 equals 11. So whatever way we look at it, our eyes see in the number 11. The doorway, the portal, everything is a frequency, a vibration, an energy. Who has the keys of the frequency keys? And that is Janus. Is that why he's so influential? Just blows my mind. Also, we have another eye, the pineal gland. that goes by many names. The third eye, the mind's eye, the inner eye is just to name a few. We also have the eye of Horus, and it sometimes goes also by the eye of Wadjat. There's a few. And we must have saw these images in regard to the pineal gland, ghosted over, and the fractions of the golden mean and so on. But I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to add the numbers. So I've added them now. I'm not going to read all the numbers out, but it adds to 42. And I saw that 42, my mind went, wow. Now some of you might already know, but here it goes. Remember, your eyes are the law. I've talked about it a few minutes ago. And the god of the law was Ma'at. Well, guess how many laws of Ma'at there are? Yep, you got it, 42. That cannot be a coincidence. That just blew me away. And also couldn't mention that without mentioning, in some texts, Osiris was cut into 42 pieces, not 14, by Seth. So just had to put that in. Right, back to the pineal. You can see, yep, remember our field of view added to 11, the doorway. Well, guess what the occult name of the pineal is? In occultism, the pineal gland is regarded as a link between the objective and the subjective states of consciousness, or in exoteric terminology, the visible and the invisible worlds of nature. Like our eyes, we only see 1% of the spectrum. In the religions of the Latins, it was therefore referred to as Janus. The occult name is Janus, the two-faced god and the keeper of the gates of sanctuary. The divinity was the archetype of St. Peter, who succeeded him as the warder of the heavenly portals and who carried the two keys of his office, one to the golden mysteries of the spirit and the other to the silver mysteries of the body. I'm not going to read any more because then it's just going away from the video, but if you want to see the video this is from, it's called the Pineal, the Vatican, the Occult. Oh my, I'll put a little image on, you can go and search for it. But guys, I've showed you the field of view as to 11, and now we have the occult name of Janus. Guys, it still blows me away to this day, and it's just wow. So Janus is known as the pineal gland, the occult name. Well, as you know, in Latin, pineal is pinea, means pine cone. So thus in the Vatican we have a huge pine cone surrounded with two peacocks, showing you the double aspects of Janus. It is no coincidence that he was the first pope and is the occult name for the pineal gland. There is another name, it's called the Godhead. It looks like an eye, and in ancient times when you saw this symbol of the circle with the dot in it, it was called the Godhead. It represented the portal of creation, the portal of light, and the infinite tunnel and the source, in which all is an aspect of. Portals, who's the god of portals? Yes, Janus. So he's tied to the Godhead and obviously the tunnel, and we all go down this tunnel, the rabbit hole, which is the Godhead. But it's also called something else. It's called the circumpunct. And this little clip talks about how it's the sun god Ra in Egypt, gold, alchemy, emotional restraint, Freemasonry, and the creative spark of the divine consciousness within people, linking everyone to the creative mind of a universal God, thus making each persona co-creator. Persona, that's mask. We wear many masks. We have many personalities. And obviously Janus is that, many masks. But what's funny, in Rome, I've talked about the pine cone. They have a pine cone district, right? And you can see on the sign for the pine cone district, they have a symbol. Yes, circumpunct, 2 of them. But that is there for a reason. They have a famous building in that pine cone district, and it's the Pantheon, and that was built to house all the gods. Well, Janus is known in Latin, basically, as Deus Deorum. It means God of gods. Well, that building has a very famous dome, and you can see it with the light shining through, has a specific name, and it's related to what we're talking about today in regards to the eye. This is known as a oculus, and it just blows me away. I mean, in olden times, because it's been refurbished many times, it used to be plated in copper to resemble, yes, a pine cone, a pineal, and from above the Godhead fits in. It's all about enlightenment and the third eye. You can just see it again. Circumpunct, the Godhead, the Pineal, and it's in the Pinecone district. Well, in England, we have St. Paul's Cathedral with a dome. Yes, this is also an oculus. It lets the light through. So it just blows me away when we talk about these domes and people forget to know that, yep, it's named after the oculus. Also, in Christopher Wren's crypt, they have a virtual experience. Guess what it's called? Yep, you got it. Oculus. You just can't make it up. So this is a virtual tour at the cathedral itself. And in Washington DC, they used to have one too. Before it was refurbished, it was actually made from copper and wood. And it had the hole in. They refurbished it, and you can see where the circle would have been. It was filled in. Another oculus. So all these domes had oculuses, and it means eye, and also it's linked to the occult, meaning hidden. Just blows my mind. You know this gesture, I've always shown it to be in regard to the sacral area of the groin area, but I also can see how it is in regard to the eyes and in regard to Moloch, as I did in my last video. Now, if we go along those lines, and if you actually remember the part in my last video, I showed what oculus broken down meant, and that blew me away because it was an old video and I just forgot. So it meant the owl and the world belonged to us. It's just crazy, isn't it? So are they saying with that gesture, with the fingers over the eyes, they control what we see? Like religion with the holy see. Very specific choice of words for an organisation, isn't it? I mean, mechanically speaking, our eyes see everything upside down. It seems they control the law. They control what light shines in our eyes. Remember, the law is our eyes. They blindfolded it. They are creating their own world, their own reality. And that brings to me this verse. The eye is a lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Remember, we only see 1% of the spectrum, and if they control that, what damage? Well, we can see what damage they can do. That's why we have to try and make our own light. We have all seen these images of the so-called Elites. It's one indicator they're in the club. So obviously it's the black eyes, and that's why I've decided to include it in this. I made a very long video on it a long time ago. So what does the search say about the Black Eye Club? One of the things it will shoot up, it's the Illuminati. Other results will say it's fake news, nothing more than injuries. Other times it'll be it's a ritual, but who's it to? Other people say it's initiation to get into the club. But why the left eye? Some say it's the eye of Horus, but which Horus is it? Because there's been so many, and I'll mention a few today. Is it when Ra was melded with Horus in the form of Ra Horakti? In that form, Horus was god of the two horizons. Horus was the god of the rising and the setting sun, specifically the god of the east. Well, Freemasonry always have a saying and a ritual, I always look to the east. The first couple of levels you have to do it for initiates. So you can see, looking to the east is to look for knowledge, enlightenment and inner peace. More light equals more knowledge, and that's why they want to control it. It's a coincidence that the two solstices, the highest and the lowest points of the year in regards to the sun, are called Janui Colei, or Heaven's Gates, for they are the 2 points of entry and exit from the world. So, are they saying they are descendants of the god of the East? That's one theory, and I'm going to show another Horus now. So, we all recognise this symbol. Another one from the people in this secret club. It's the shh, silence. Now, I've talked about this briefly in other videos, but if you're wondering what's this got to do with Horus, well, this is where it gets interesting. And here we go. As you can see from these images, the Greeks changed Horus to Harpocrates, aka Horus the Child. And if you notice one big thing about him, he has his finger to his lips. Now this blew me away because we're talking about secret societies here. Well, he is god of secrets and silence and confidentiality. Look, he's even got a circumpunct above his head, and this is mixed with Hermes. So Harpocrates was in charge of secrets, and his symbol was a rose. I'll not read everything else out, but what blew me away is everyone's heard of pink eye. It affects the eyes. Its other name is conjunctivitis. What a coincidence that one of the home remedies to treat this ailment is, yes, you got it, a rose. We have a famous Crowley as Harpocrates doing the sh as well. Let's have a guess. Who did he marry? Oh yes, he married a Rose Edith Kelly. Now, who people deal with secrets? CIA is one of them. Well, there we go, on the logo is a compass rose. It's all in your face. Security service, the MI5. I'll put it a little bit bigger and in colour. As you can see, more roses. It's all about knowing. So this Horus, or Harpocrates, controls the secrets of our eyes. So this is out of an old video I did. Now, for Western religions, Aldebaran stood for the Archangel Michael, who guarded the East. See, reference to the East again. Saint Michael was the right eye, so who could the left be? So I'll briefly give a few of them as well. But for instance, in Persia, the Persians, it was not only the guardian of the East, but also represented the god Mithra. And is Mithras slain the bull, showing them sacrificing their eye, the bull's eye. And it's in regard to, but obviously Aldebaran is the brightest star in the constellation Taurus, and is known as the Eye of Taurus. The name Aldebaran in Arabic, which means the follower. So their rituals are showing us they are followers, but of who? Anyway, it appears to follow the Hades cluster, that's why it's known as the follower. Now what's interesting, obviously, because you have two eyes. So the other, one eye is Aldebaran and the other is Ain, A-I-N, and it's east of the other eye. So a reference again to Ain, east. Now this is from an old video, so I didn't know about Baal being Janus at this time. So remember Ain, the left eye, and how it's east of Aldebaran. Well, the Freemasons have a ritual called Look to the East. Is that in reference to the evil Baal and one of the princes of hell? Because it's east of Aldebaran. Which gets you thinking. And in the beliefs of the Goatee, notably in the Legometron book, Baal is the first demon at the top of the list. He is the king of the eastern part of hell and rules it, you know, the infernal regions. So obviously you have your eye, and it's basically identical to the archetype, the bull of heaven in ancient Sumeria. It just gets you thinking, doesn't it? Obviously in reference to the bull's eye, and obviously Baal, with one hand, the 5-digit on its hand, is a symbolic of the Hades cluster, which Aldebaran is a part of. And obviously when we see celebrities doing the V and the covering of the eye, but with the V, is this in reference to Baal? So I'm going to finish with this, because I've been on this video for what feels like years. Now, in regard to the eye, people talk about the Vril, and some celebrities have spoken out saying it's real. They put a parasite or a worm through the eye, and obviously that controls the host. We have TV series like The Strain, which these ones are vampiric or vampiric, how you want to pronounce it, but obviously it gets put through the eye. Now some people have been thinking and using the Egyptian hieroglyph for an eye and showing that Yep, the tail will, curls round is a Vril worm. I've showed you in other videos how the Egyptians were growing parasites in incubators. But what is funny that, and I'm going to finish on this, ego, we all have one, is Latin for I, and the etymology for the letter I is, yes, you got it, the eye. We all have one. Remember, we are the judge, the jury, and the executioner, and the eyes are the law, and so much more. So hopefully, guys, you've enjoyed my take and looking into the eyes a little bit different. It's blew me away, some of the stuff that I've put in it, but it's different, and I just wanted it to be different so you guys can actually enjoy something that is away from what we actually normally talk about.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. It feels a long time since my last video. It must be 10-11 days, and it feels like the other day, and this video felt like forever to make. And I keep saying, yeah, I'm finishing, and people want to know what it's actually about. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video that I've put forward. It's not a fact, it's not truth, it's just my take on a few things in regard to the eye. I could have been here all day, really gone into depth on this, and this, but it'd be 2-3 hours long. And we have so much content people have to watch, channels that they have to follow, because I don't ask you to prioritize my channel. You know what I mean? We all have an ego after all, an eye, and we all do, so there's a lot in regard to this video that I've enjoyed making, and hopefully it came across in the video, and you guys have enjoyed the difference. It's not to be taken as fact. Channels out there who promote this is fact, this is truth. Follow me. If you don't follow this, you're a shill. Really, guys, you should just walk away from them channels. People should be promoting truth in the sense of we all are on our separate path in life. Yes, we will share that path, or we will walk parallel to each other, but we all have to make our own decisions and our own minds to get to it. Yes, we'll see people falling flat on the face, but you have to in life, especially as a parent. We're here to guide our children. And if they come to us for advice and you give them your advice and they don't take it personal. They have to. That's how they learn, and hopefully they're not put into too much harm learning that truth. But it's all in regard to the eyes on how we see this world, because people have always talked to me, close friends and strangers, about the truth. I've always talked about truth in the sense of it's personal to you. That's why when you have a truth and people go against that truth, it hurts. It creates division and it creates anger. But if someone has said something to me and it's not my truth, I just take a step back and I have a look at it, because I'm intrigued to see why people look at things differently. And a few years ago, one of the first videos I did, and it'll be on my Black Sheep Researcher Odyssey, but I looked at the eye differently to this, but I called it the truth wavelength, and I theorised that there is a wavelength, because everything is a frequency and then a vibration, just why people do not see what we see. And that ties in a little bit in regard to this video in a bit, in the sense of when I talked about we only see in 1% of the spectrum. That, if true, because we have no way of measuring it, we're just using information, and someone will say, oh, well, that's lies, and this is lies, you can't trust science. You can't trust anything. Anything. Where are you getting your information from? You're getting it from books, and you're getting it from the internet. The same place that we get the information. So that is why you can't sit your, let me just creak, you can't sit your neck out on the line, because all the information is controlled. It's someone's perspective, it's someone's belief. That's why I treat it as information. So if it is true and it's 1%, that leaves 99%. That is wow. That is staggeringly wow. What truly things are around us that we are missing out on. And that is why I asked, if we see 1%, is each individual person, like you watching it at home today, are you seeing another 1%? Are you seeing 0.5% what I see and another 0.5% that I do not see? And so on and so on. Because that gets you thinking then, is because when people automatically talk about different theories, you'll get people, oh wow, that's interesting, I'd like to have a look at that. And you'll get some people who are triggered because the truth is their trap, remember, rut. And the truth is personal because it has you in it. You, I, me, ego. We all see with it and we all use it. And when you go against that, you get ridiculed, you get called, and people chest pump and they want to ridicule and call you a shill. That's just a fact of how we're learning. The good people, the respectful people out there will, you know, acknowledge you have a different thinking of looking at things. And that's how it should be. God, what the hell is that coming? So that is why, if you think about it, we all see in different 1%, and someone comes out with a big theory and they actually truly see that, that is beautiful. Now that just means you cannot see it because you are not picking up that light spectrum. We all have, our eyes are at a different frequency. Some people have astigmatisms, which let more light in, I believe it is. If I get that wrong, you know, hold my hand up. So you can see how different eye shapes, different colours maybe, and just the internal workings. So some people are finely tuned. You have not even talked about the ears and other ways of learning and seeing this realm. For instance, look at the heart, H-E-A-R-T. Heart contains the ears, but each end is HT, hertz, a frequency. Yes, I know hertz has a Z in it, HZT or something like that, but HT, hertz, a frequency. So the heart contains an ear and is a frequency. So thus, when you hear bad things, it breaks and hurts the heart. It's another way we have to learn. So that's why people get a lot more emotional and people are more finely tuned. It's a strange world, isn't it, that we live in, but a beautiful. But we're in unprecedented times. And when I make a video, I do get an emotional because I put a lot into it. So when people don't like it, it does hurt. Because I'm human, after all. Do you know what I mean? The only difference is the more videos that you make, the more attuned you get to blocking that out and accept people are just going to troll. Some people do it politically. Some people, because I follow this person, they don't like you, I'm going to troll you. No truther, and this is, you know, this is my hand up, no truther should troll another truther because someone else is telling you to do so or you follow other people. It's just ridiculous. It's children in the playground and you're letting the community down. Do you know what I mean? People should just move on. But I'm not perfect. I hold my hand up, you know what I mean? I do hold grudges and things, and I always wonder why people follow certain people when you know something is bad. And we all have our limits. Remember, our scales are all finely tuned and different to each other. But that's life. You know, you get on and you move on. So when we're talking about other people seeing something completely different to us because they're seeing more of the spectrum or a different part of the spectrum, just blows my mind. It really does. And then you have animals that are seeing a different spectrum. It is just mind-blowing, isn't it, when you look at the eyes on how they are. And I've not got into it scientifically. I'm just, you know, mulling, putting a few ideas out and looking at etymology. It just blows me away. I mean, when I looked at the etymology for the eye, one of the etymologies was Old English, and it was E-A-G-E, eye, in the sense of that eye, but it's also age. So your eyes are time travellers, and people who wanna, no, time does not exist. We can see time. Clocks and the man-made construct of time doesn't exist, but we see things age in front of our eyes. Sometimes in a flash, you'll see something and it's, you know, it's like it's aged overnight. So we see that the effects of time, which we emit, because I've taught many videos on that, we emit time, because backwards is emit. You're talking about Back to the Future. His name is Emmett. Time. So it is funny when we look at different things, and our eyes, etymology from Old English, meant eye and age. That just blew me away. So when you just look at things differently, And someone could be screaming, wanting to type, "No, you're wrong." Why am I wrong? Because I'm going against your truth? Some other big channel or your researcher said otherwise? I'm on my path. Why do people want you on their path? Why do people want them to be themselves right? I'm heavily flawed and I'm very contradictory in some of my videos because I'm human. And I also have an ego, an eye. You can't even touch your eye, you can't even have one eye in a photograph because you're a shell. Can it not just because you love looking at eyes and the picture is good? Yes, there's some evil people out there. There always is and always will be. But that just blew me away when I saw the etymology for eye being E-A-G-E, because not the week before, or how many days it was, I made the last video on the Who. I showed you the etymology of eagle. E-A-G meant death and decay. You're talking one letter, an E, out with that. So that automatically got me to thinking of blue light, because obviously we're in front of computers, you can change your settings, you can get blue screen protectors and all the side effects of blue light has on, this human vessel. That got me to thinking of one of the early pictures of Lucifer. Yes, we know about the Latin and the Latin vulgar pronunciation, how it changed from Lucifer, meaning Satan, but it means light bearer, light bringer. And it's funny that I see red, green and blue, according to science. I've got no way of proving that we're only seeing red, green and blue. And what if you're colourblind? Are they seen in the correct spectrum? Is how they see in the world how it truly is? Or is it how we see it, the world it truly is, depending on light and knowledge? Like I've said for so long, the more you know, the more light you bring in and shine out. Ancient Greeks used to think we had... If you ever watched that old film, Big Trouble in Little China, it's a low pan. And when he's changing, light shoots out of his eyes. Well, the Greeks actually thought we did that. Obviously, you couldn't see it in the spectrum, but that's how you saw the world. Light shooted out your eye, focusing like a torch. How many times have we used that as a saying for the truth? You go into a dark room, same things on the table, identical rooms. Whoever's got the brightest light reveals more. Light is information, light is knowledge. Whoever controls the knowledge, whoever controls the light, controls everything. It's as simple as that. And that is that when you get all the secret societies wanting to control information and changing history in front of our very eyes. Because all it's changing is the light and the spectrum and frequencies. And you can just do anything holographic. Do you know what I mean? People believe we're in a simulation. So if it's hooked up, we're all up into a simulation, like the Matrix. And remember, the Matrix means womb. And obviously when you're in the womb, you come out, you rebirth. And that's why I put in a bit about the blue pill and the red pill. Red pill, blue pill. Pupils. Pupils. In this country, I don't know if you have a different name in the States or anywhere around the world, but we call them pupils. When you go to school, you're there to learn. Yes, it's indoctrinated knowledge, and you follow a set path because they are basically showing you the different types of spells that they want you to follow, and it keeps you in the Matrix. In the Matrix, you come to a point where you have to take the blue pill or the red pill. And I've always said, why have... Me ears just popping then. Something doesn't want me to do this. God, I've gone deaf then for a second. Someone doesn't want you to get out of the Matrix and they just want to give you two choices. Why do we have to have two choices? Can we not make our own choice? Do you know what I mean? So that's what I've always got about that. But isn't it funny how it sounds like pupil and you're there to learn? You can take the red pill, get out of it, rebirth, red blood, coming out of the womb, coming out of the Matrix. They come out in pods. You connect it up, umbilical cord, and so on. Or you can keep the blue pill and keep in ignorance. And that is right to ignorance and the word blue. And obviously, the old images for Satan. Yes, I know Satan, it means adversary. and obviously the text that's saying Lucifer is just a light bringer, the information bringer, but also the week before in the Who, and we had Oans, and that's Janus, and he was portrayed as blue, coming out of the sea, giving wisdom, giving light, giving knowledge. So you can see all these things, and the devil, and Hillel ben Sharar, and all these. Remember, where are you getting the information from? This is sometimes what gets people. People always say to me, how do you do all this, and how do you put your videos? I'm like you guys, I just look and research and try and be objective. It's hard not to, but that's why I show different information from different sources in the video, so you can make your own mind up. It's all about making a choice. And people say, oh, well, how do you learn? And I've had channels call me because they get their information from angels, and how possibly can I be wrong? And this is what it is. It's the ego again, the I. You see something and it threatens you. It's all information. We should all be swimming in the pool of knowledge and enjoying all these different perspectives. It gets boring if you just want to listen and see the same thing over and over again. It never got me that. So we were talking about why the eyes, and the big thing is because they're the windows of the soul. And easy access, you see films like Supernatural series and other things where if it's a demon it goes black. Well, like I said to you, you can see if someone's ill, someone's lying through the eyes, and body, body movement as well. Judge, jury, and executioner, and the law, mat tied to ma'at. So if they're linked to the soul, and I put my old quote in that, obviously if it's like a window to the soul, but like any good window, like your house, you can look both ways, unless you have is it two-way glass or one-way glass or whatever you call it. You can only look one way. So you can see my point. I mean, people forget that their eyes are like scrying mirrors, the darkened area, the scrying mirrors. And that's why people can do a lot of beautiful things and obviously a lot of evil things in regards to the eyes. And I just didn't want to go all one way. I just wanted to cram as much information. Maybe I put too much in, but I got carried away, as I do. So when you put all them things together and then you use, just look at it. Blue pill, blue, B. Put in front of Lucifer, you get Lucifer, the name of the horse outside Denver Airport. So you get the ties to Lucifer, blue. The devil being blue in Dante's Inferno. Just got me in regards to the blue light. And people say, well, the devil's this name. The devil's got so many names. I've talked about how many times in my videos that devil is a frequency, a wave. Is it the blue light? Is it other things? Because it's not just more than one thing. Remember, like that verse, the eyes are the lamp of the body. So if you see a lot of evil, does that make you darker inside because you've seen a lot of evil? Is it how we're influenced? If we're changing the light that's coming in to darkness, I think if you have, we say red, green, and blue, but if you put a blue light through red, it turns to black. So are they influencing us by using a lot of blue light in the tech world? Obviously, we're going to go to the Oculus and metaverse and different things like that. You there again with the Oculus story about the eye and how much similar it is to occult. Well, the occult means hidden, not easily seen. So we're living in an occult world. So you see occult, people think devil worship and pagan. It just means it's hard to see. It's hidden from view. And we're always saying, how did I miss that? That was hidden in plain sight. Everything is hidden in plain sight. Because it's invisible. Because it's on a different spectrum. And the more you learn, the more enlightened you get, the more that 1% goes up. Revealing more in this society that we can see. You're like, wow, I've saw it now. How did I miss that? Because you didn't have the light spectrum to see it. It's as simple as that. You control the flow of light going into this eye. Remember, there's talk of the light from the sun. It recharges our third eye. That agitates, creates a spark, and we're supposed to see even more. They're trying to control the light by chemtrailing and geoengineering. People are feeling more and more down. That's why people are told to take vitamin D3. So you can just see how interesting it is when you just look at things completely different. And yes, I left loads out. Yes, I could have talked about something more. But when you're making a video, you have to make a decision on which way you want to go, how easy you want it to be and feel. I like you guys to actually, submerge yourself in it and maybe have to watch it 1, 2, 3 times. Because that's sometimes what my downfall is. I put too much information in and it's a lot to comprehend and you miss it. You miss a lot of the subtle things I put in, and sometimes I put them in hidden. I don't tell you guys, and sometimes I have to tell you because it's going to raise the point. That brought me on when I was talking about the evil eye. I mean, we're talking about the blue. Just look, Facebook blue, Twitter blue, so on. The Who is blue. So I'm not saying blue is evil, but when you're thinking of blue, you do think a cold colour. Cold. Just so funny that I obviously have blue bloods. But what interests me about the lapis lazuli is now they're saying that anywhere in the Bible it says sapphire, because of the region, it is lapis lazuli. It's a protection stone, but it's also to enhance psychic abilities. Is that why the Egyptians put it under the eyes? Was that to coincide with that Vril? Or was it to protect them from that? So it just blew me away that. I mean, you're talking then about, obviously, anything where it says sapphire is lapis lazuli, the blue, the heaven stone, the God stone, supposedly the firmament is made out of it, because obviously in reference to the Bible, the God's throne. And also, I didn't put in there, was that lapis lazuli is supposed to be what the 10 Commandments are made out of. Everyone always thinks, and even me, because you don't think of it. You think the 10 Commandments written on stone and it's grey, when in fact it's supposed to be sapphire and in a cube shape. Is this false information? Quite could be, but it's supposed to be sapphire. Sapphire, they didn't have it then. It was a lapis lazuli, the heaven stone with the gold in it. And I saw something somewhere that I didn't want to go down that route, because people, obviously, when you put more information on this, people then start losing the nuts, as you say. And it was talking about how the size of the commandments was hand width, and it was 6 by 6 by 6. I was talking to my good friend Tom about that the other day, and that reminds me, if I've still got the link, I'll have to send it to him. So it's just intriguing, isn't it? Sapphire blue is lapis lazuli, the Egyptians and the Sumerians put under the eye. Was it for protection, or was it to aid with the truth? Because like I was saying in the video, the truth in Egyptian times was Ma'at. Ma'at regulated the stars, even though there was Nut, obviously the sky god, the firmament. But Ma'at was law and order, and she regulated the stars. Police have stars on the badges. The police are in blue. They're known as the boys in blue, and also the thin blue line. Thin blue line to see the truth. Remember, the truth is personal. Was there a time the truth was like fact? Could well be, but we're living in a realm now where there's so many different types of truth. It is startling, and people be again asking me, oh, the truth is fact. The truth isn't fact. There's some facts in the truth. But I'll take this for an instance. I have a lot of subscribers, and a lot of people are flat earthers or different. They believe the earth is not what it is. Society, NASA are telling you it's a fact and a truth that we're on a spinning ball. No, we're not, because we can see. Hence my point. One person believes it's truth and a fact does not necessarily mean another person is a truth and a fact, because of their eyes. Society and the evil are saying the vaccines are good for you and they're for your protection. Yet we know they are not. They're saying it's truth and a fact. So you can see my point is, when people use truth and fact, it's truth and a fact for them. not for you. And that is how I look at the truth. We're all seen in a different spectrum, so our truth and facts are actually shaded differently. What else are we up to? So that was just blew me away about obviously the mat and tied to law. And obviously in our law we have this maritime law, Noahide law. Obviously I talked about in all videos how Janus was linked and tied to Noah, the shipbuilder. He and Janus, they've come from the sea peoples. That's why you have maritime law, law of the sea. And we're talking about law now being blindfolded because they want to be impartial. No, you actually want to open your eyes and look. But it's them. They're blindfolded the law. And most of there is some, I'm not saying there's not, but most of the scales of our justice are tilted. They're weighing in their favour. But again, all this is just opinions and based on theories. That then tied into when I actually found an old etymology of retina. I broke it up, retina, and it actually changed round to the law. Yes, it could be just a coincidental fluke. But when I do my videos, isn't it funny that these interesting flukes match the narrative I'm trying to... It's not like I'm inventing them, I'm just using their truth. And that's like anything in this realm, in manifestation and different things. When we say something or will something and we're looking for information, you generally find it. Is it we find it because we're good at what we do, or is it we find it because the simulation, this realm is pushing it in your direction? Is it a bit of both? Remember, it's light. We all see different light. Some people refuse to see the light. That's why they must put up the shutters. Yep, so that just blew me about the 1%. And obviously then when I was talking about the field of view and how that field of view added up to 11, that absolutely blew me away. Now, people can say, oh, you ended that wrong, you did this wrong. Remember, again, it's me. It's my truth, it's my perspective. It's helping me to shine a light on this topic. And it's just so coincidentally that eyes, the windows of the soul, what let the information in and let us to see this reality even upside down. It's 11%, which is a doorway, a gateway, a portal, a place to open or close. And that number is associated with Janus, the gatekeeper. He has the keys, the frequency keys. Everything in this realm is sound, vibration and frequency. Hence his popularity with them. And now he's known as the God of Gods. I mean, for instance, in the Occult, the name of the pineal gland is named after him. You have the giant pinecone in the Vatican. You have a district called the Pinecone District, where one of the most famous buildings that there is, the Pantheon, made for him, the God of Gods, also other gods, was designed like a pine cone. It had copper on, and it contained an oculus. Oculus, to see, and obviously occultist. That's why I put it in about the title. It just blows you away. Doesn't mean I'm right, no. Far from it. I'm just piecing together and putting it together for you guys to watch it, and it just blows me mind when we see different things, and the comments I get from you guys are outstanding, and it makes me proud that we've all managed to come together and we're trying to make this world a better place for us. How are we going to make this a better place if I'm a channel that says, right guys, you should not watch this? Like I said before, I'm human. There's channels out there that support different things and have agendas, put information behind firewalls, paywalls, whatever you want to call it. I've always said I believe the information should be true and free and as partial as we can get. Yes, we cannot. People can make money. They can. I'm no harm against it. You put in a lot of hard work in it. Some people are giving up jobs to pursue this. This is not, for me, this is a cause. When people are actually putting things completely behind paywalls and people feel pressured into it, that's what I don't like. Like I said, you can still make money and whatever you want. Just be open about it. You know, the people use this, it's like, don't follow those channels, don't do these channels. I'm the truth. And I'm leaving this, and you go hide behind paywalls and you come back with not enough people following you. You can see it's an agenda. But if people want to follow these channels, crack on with it. You know, there's enough channels and information out there to keep everyone occupied. Is that a part of the agenda? Control the information, control the flow. Because yes, our eyes are not perfect. They also there's big optical illusions. We use light and patterns to, you know, they even say when we look in objects in the sky, pareidolia. Or is it the fact that some of us see in different percentages and we're actually seeing what we see? And because people have egos, they want to be right and they don't want people to be able to see that. So they create this pareidolia. And that's what I say to you, and I said it in the video. Don't diss people's theory. Doesn't matter how crazy they are. They generally will see something different. Are they seeing a different 1%? Is the 1% bollards? Could it be more? Is it the case of you get in your car and you're going to the petrol station and you're filling up on information? The more you have in the tank, the further you can go and the more that you can see. Remember, they look to the east, the sunrise in the east. So more light is more information. They want to control that sunrise. They want to monopolize it. And we get drips and drabs. And because there's people out there like yourselves watching today that see differently, believe in different things, are able to expose them and show people what they actually see. And it's our journey. You either believe in them people or you want to actually go out and prove there's another theory. And that's what I like doing. I like just going out there and looking to see if there's anything else. And that's the beautiful thing. We are finding so much evidence for a truth. And people said there should only be one truth. That's what we're led to believe because they want you to believe truth is fact. There cannot be, for instance, one topic and A is A and nothing else is seen. Well, you look at it even in etymology. A is not A. A used to be an ox or a bull with horns. So everything has a different perspective. And the more light changes your perspective. That's how I see it. Like I say, I could be talking total bollards. But I love doing it. I feel privileged to have a great bunch behind me. It feels like forever, like I said, making this video. And when we are on our journey in life, we are trying to go from A to B to C to D. And sometimes we will share the same A to B. We'll talk to each other. But our final destination is not always the same place where I'm going. You might want to take the front door. Some people want to take other shaped doors. Some people like climbing through the windows for the truth. You know what I mean? So we all have different ways. But there's no reason why we cannot enjoy a different perspective, a different form of truth. Because we saw it in society, we saw it on social media. You put your truth up and you get someone coming in really aggressive. Yes, some of these people are shills in the sense of it's an agent paid. Some people, they're a bot. And it just shows you how certain people's truths trigger certain individuals. Triggered means an emotional response. Sometimes a good emotional response is if it's affecting you in a good way. The bad one is when you start calling. You should never call for someone from a different perspective. And that just shows you what type of light you're letting into your body. It's dark. Because if you're a truther, you should know words are spells and they have an effect on people. So you should know how to use what we're using today. Do you know what I mean? And we have to find that fine balance between everything. So hopefully you've liked this video. It's a lot different. It's talking about the eye in a different way. I've gone through, ended up talking about obviously the Black Eye Club and different things like that. And there's different etymologies on it being Horus, the Eye of Horus. You have different Horuses. You then have the Greek interpretation that was, Hippocrates, and he was a god of secret, silence and confidentiality. And in their club, is that what they're doing? Are they telling us, shh, we're not telling you the secret? Obviously, with the voice box, the vocal cords, and obviously the eyes now. We do learn with our eyes. And then you have the different interpretations. Is it Baal? It's just, there's so much I could have gone on from and on. But you guys want a video. I want to get this out and I don't want it to cut it short or this. But it felt right. So hopefully you've enjoyed my different interpretations on the eyes, the different meanings. Some things I've left out. Maybe I can do other versions, different topics, number 2s and 3s. But it's right. So hopefully you've enjoyed all this about the eyes. And I'll see you in the chat, guys. Remember, stay safe. Do one good deed a day. Pay it forward. Hopefully everyone is in good spirits. And I'll see you in the chat. Bye, guys. Take care.